Welcome to April Mystery Envelope Challenge with Makers with Heart. I'm Amanda, Crafting with Amanda, and I absolutely love these challenges. I think the mystery envelopes are so much fun. Each of us sends a bunch of components to the other 6 in the group, so there's 7 of us in the group, and we get to decide kind of their own guidelines. So this month, Dawn sent us these parts from In Full Bloom, and she said we could use white and black daisy, white daisy and black cardstock, up to 2 additional sheets. One of them can be cardstock, one of them can be pattern paper. It's up to us. So here's the components she sent us, and then I have 1 sheet of Lagoon and 1 sheet of the pattern paper from In Full Bloom. And I already cut some different hearts out of it because I want to do this layout with my husband and I. This was right before we got married. We went out to Arizona for his brother's wedding. And I thought I would do some stitching on the project, and so I wanted to have an outline with the heart. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out where these pieces go. So the other rules that Dawn included is that stamp sets, thin cuts, stencils, all of the other tools, mixed media, glitter gel, shimmer brush, all of that is fair game. That she sent us 3 big sparkles and 3 little sparkles, and we could add 1 other embellishment with those if we wanted. And again, Cricut cuts are okay. We just has to be included in the white and black cardstock or in the 2 extra pieces we add for our project. So I tried to audition it with it. It was funny. I don't even know why I picked it, the Harbor color, and it didn't work for me, which is good because I would have been violating the rules had I included Harbor instead of black. So here I'm cutting one of the 4x6 pieces, I think it's 4x6, that Dawn sent, because I'm going to have it go underneath, kind of doing just a layer of all of these different pieces of paper. And the striped heart isn't going to end up on the final layout. That's just holding the place for the stitches I want to do. And I do need to apologize. I intended to show you how I poke around that heart initially to get the holes, and somehow I missed hitting record on that video part of it. But I'm going to cut a banner end out of one side of this paper that I'm sliding underneath. And I do actually end up, because there's a lot of it still tucked underneath the layers, I'm going to go ahead and punch some flower petals out of it, just because, or leaf petals I should say, just because I'm not sure what I'm going to want to use later as part of my embellishing. I don't want to go too flowery with this. I feel like I've done a lot of flowers lately, and it's just my husband and I, and there's not necessarily flowers in Arizona. We're just stopped along the roadside. So I'm just trying to keep this more of a clean, less feminine layout. So I'm going to ink all the edges of the components, and you can kind of see if you look that I have poked the holes for the heart stitching, and I realized that I needed to go ahead and mark where the photo is going to be, just to save myself stitching that part of the heart. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piercing tool, because I just poked a small hole to start with, and that's one of the tips that I was hoping to show. When I do my dots around the outside or following something that I know I'm going to stitch, I actually space it a little wider than I think I want it to be, because then when you widen the holes or make them bigger, that closes up that gap. So here, as you can tell, I folded a piece of the kids craft foam, and then I just use my piercing tool and pierce right down through it. And that to me is the easiest way to widen those holes, to have support on the paper so it's not wrinkling. And you just basically follow where the guides are to start. And then I'm going to show you, this was the best place in the heart to show you the different methods of stitching. This is a true back stitch for needlework, where you go up the empty hole, the right side of it, and then go stitch back to the previous mark. And you just continue to do that all the way around. The back of the project looks a little more complete. It does use more thread. So I typically switch to this method, where you go up one hole and then forward one, and then you go up the next hole and go back, and then that hole that you just came up, so I'm going to go up here maybe if I can find the hole, there we go, and go down. And then I'm going to go up that same hole again. And then I go forward one. And now I'll skip a hole and go back, and then go back through that same hole again and go forward. And then on the back, there's actually a gap in the string, so that it saves thread. But it's up to you how you want to do that. This one you have to be a little more mindful of what you're doing. The other one, it's all the same stitches the whole time. So I just wanted to show you a few more of those here, and then I will finish up the heart off screen. And I am using 3 strands of a DMC floss. So now it's time to adhere my photo. And I use washi tape, by the way, to attach the strings on the back of my layout. So now I'm going to put that photo on, and kind of now I get to have the fun of embellishing. I'm using the floral stamp border that comes in the Wild Berry Blast stamp set, and that's only good through April. So if you like any of this, and it has so many cool little border things, but I really thought this floral, it wasn't too over the top. It was more leaves than flowers, and the flowers themselves are really tiny. And here I'm going to do a masking technique where I don't want it to stamp over the pattern paper, so I just used scratch paper to block that so it wouldn't stamp on it. And then this paper is from the Mix-In collection for the March-April catalog, and they have all these wonderful words on them. So I just cut the 3 strips, and then I'm going to just with scissors cut out celebrate life, cherish every moment, and little moments, because that's what we were doing. We were celebrating life. We were cherishing just being together, because when you're not married and living in 2 separate areas of a state, you don't get those time together. So we were cherishing being able to spend this time together. And then I just hand drew a heart. I know not everybody can do that, but there's punches, there's crickets. You can use a stencil to figure out how to draw a heart. But then I just fussy cut that out, and then I was just kind of auditioning this color to see if it was going to be too bright. It's just a pale pink. So I'm kind of coloring in the flowers around the stamp, and I will go back in and follow that up with adding, I think it's green apple shimmer brush to all of the leaves. So you'll see that next here. I did speed up the video a little bit at this point just so I don't color this fast. But I've had some feedback that people like to see this process and enjoy watching it. And I get it. I enjoy it. It's kind of soothing for me at times. So I hope you enjoy it. If it gets too fast, please let me know. I've talked to some other people, and I kind of have the threshold for how fast I can go without it causing some motion sickness for some people. And then I'm just applying the cherish moments, and then the gems that Dawn sent, I'm gonna also scatter around the page. And this layout is gonna come together really quickly. The stitching did not take long at all. I was a little, I don't want to say intimidated, but just, that's way too much effort and work and time. And it's not. And I really like the interest that it adds to this page. It doesn't take away from the single photo. It kind of helps draw your eye into the photo. There's a balance with the white and the black and the brightness of the lagoon. So I'm enjoying these challenges so much. I'm anxious to see what all the other Makers with Heart did with the same components. Dawn really gave us some freedom so we could just let loose and go for it. So now you can see some of the stitching, the details. I'm really pleased with the choices that I made for the pattern paper that I added. Here's how you can connect with me. If the subscription is grayed out, thank you for being a part of my channel. And then here's the other Makers with Heart videos that you may be interested in taking a look at, and all of those links and a playlist are in my video description. Have a blessed day.